Check your thoughts and your plate. The body that we all are created in is capable of so much more. But we allow our minds to bully us. We allow the culture of today's society to overwhelm us. There's a certain way we want to look, or we want to go back to how we used to look. But we forget that our body has done so much more and is still doing so much more for us. Let's pause for a minute and consider how many things you're able to carry with your hand, how you've hugged your loved ones, how you can smell, you can see, you can hear, you can taste the wonders of foods that are created by God. We can walk a distance. We can hop if we like to. We can dance. There's a lot that our bodies can do. It might not be where we want it to be, but we should not let our minds bully us. We should not let the culture overwhelm us with just what their expectation is. I am more focused on the health of the body than the way the body looks. If the body is healthy, then that's the primary focus and what it's able to do. Now let's take an inventory of our thoughts. How do you rate your physical attributes from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent and 1 being really nothing? Our shoulders, our stomach, our waistline, our back, our butt, hips, calves, feet, torso, posture, weight, and height. 1 to 10. What is your mind telling you? Now, if you made a rate based on what it's capable of doing, then you would say a 10. But if you made your rate based on what it looks like and how it feels now, you might give it midway, maybe. Just this weekend, my daughter was asking me, is her back broad? How broad is her back compared to her sister? And I said, everyone is wonderfully and fearfully made. We're not all alike. You're still beautiful, and your back has done so much for you. So where are we at this stage of our lives? We need to start being grateful for our bodies. We need to focus on what it can do for us, how it can walk, hike, run, all the things I mentioned. And we know that from within, if we're grateful for what our body is able to do, then we can get to the place where we feel good about even the stretch mark. I had to get to a place where after having 3 kids, I had to be okay with my stretch marks. It was all part of it. It was all part of my journey. So what is our path to accepting ourselves just the way we are? Stop the judgment. Just let's stop it. We are perfect just the way we are. Let us find inspiration within ourselves. We have to encourage ourselves. We have to look in the mirror and say, call your name. You are beautiful. You're wonderful. You're capable. You're successful. You're beautiful. And we have to prioritize health. This is so important that we're not just focusing on the outside, but we're focusing on the inside. And that's why I said check our plates. When we prioritize health, we will exercise, we will eat healthily, we'll get good night rest, we'll take care of our bodies because we want it to stay active. We want it to serve us in the long run. Yes, I know it looks good to dress up and look beautiful. Believe me, I know. I've been there, done that. I'm still there. I just have to remind myself that my body is more than just what it looks like. So we have to accept how we were all formed and created. Now let's talk about what's on our plate. What's on our plate matters. It really does, because that's what distinguishes our well-being from being unhealthy. When we talk about health, Hippocrates says, let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. But unfortunately, today's culture, we barely listen to that. When we talk about our plate, half of our plate, 50% of it, should be our veggies. It should be our veggies, our non-starchy veggies, our cruciferous veggies, green, all of that gives us all the phytonutrients that we need, all the antioxidants, all the anti-inflammatory. that is what half of our plates need to be. And the other half, in case you're wondering, 25% should be whole grains, meaning that nothing is taken out of it, nothing is added to it. And then the other half, the remaining 25%, should be our lean protein, which before I got my additional training, I thought that should be animal product, but there's tons of plant-based product that has all the amino acids complete. We can have that also as protein. So that is so important that we need to emphasize that. We don't want to lose out in the fiber, because that's where you get it in your plants. There's so many choices. We want to avoid processed foods, ultra-processed foods. Those are things where chemical laden, it's filled with preservatives, coloring, all sorts of things that just make the food unhealthy. When we are picking our food choices, we need to be mindful of how you make it. Are you frying it in oil, unhealthy oils, seed oils? Are you boiling it where you're getting all the nutrients out? How we prepare our plate matters. It's going to help us internally to feel good. We want to avoid whites. We want to avoid sugary foods because sugar causes inflammation. So when we're making our selection of how we make our plate, we have to make sure that it is God-made food and not laboratory-made food. Healthy fats and oils is also part of our nutrients, which gives us a source of energy, and it helps with absorption of our vitamins and our minerals. We need to avoid seed oil and focus more on olive oil as well as avocado oil. So I want you to do a quick recap. Half of your plate should be what? I'm hoping you're saying veggies and your fruit. So I say if you want to make it simple, 3 servings of veggies a day, 3 servings of fruit minimum, right? The other 25 should be what? Yes, healthy protein, lean protein. If you're eating animal, I would suggest make it sure it's organic and it's lean. And your whole grains, if you're eating your whole grains, avoid the whites. So that is your golden rule. Watch what is on your plate. Now, I'm not a big fan of this, but I do say if you want to manage it, you got to measure. So when you're starting on a journey, a wellness journey, you might for the first few weeks monitor what you put in your mouth, because sometimes we just eat unconsciously. We're not mindful. But when we write it down, then we pay attention. So if you bite it, you write it down. You want to avoid liquid calories. The tons of sugar in that thing is just unnecessary calories that unfortunately the body doesn't know what to do with it. It's going to store it as fat. We have to have enough sleep so that our hormones are normalized and regulated, and we can metabolize what we've eaten. So very important. We want to learn to eat and stop eating when we're about 80% full. We want to use smaller plates and eat slowly. Praise yourself for all the progress you've made, no matter how small, no matter how big. Get rid of negative thoughts. Don't sabotage yourself. Celebrate every milestone and allow yourself to make mistakes, because it's in those mistakes that you're going to learn what not to do the next time. You do deserve to live at your finest because you are worth it.